Welcome to the HarvestNet podcast, where we discuss topics such as leadership, ministry, and church planting, as we aim to fulfill the Great Commission together through relational connections. HarvestNet International is a global network that exists to network and equip frontline workers for world harvest. It is our hope to see the gospel preached in all nations and to partner with others who share a common goal. We hope that this podcast will encourage, equip, and empower you. For more information on HarvestNet, please visit our website at harvestnetinternational.com.
Hi, everybody. Barry Wissler here with another HarvestNet podcast. And with me today, I want you to meet Steve Pilbrough. Steve works for HarvestNet now. He's our executive director, takes care of our financial things and manages the office staff here in Pennsylvania. And Steve was born in Zimbabwe and then moved to South Africa. Lived there for many years before moving to the United States just in February. So, Steve, welcome to the U.S. Welcome to HarvestNet. He's doing a great job working for us. The topic I want to talk about today is generosity. This topic keeps coming back to me in various ways and to Steve over the last several months. I was at an ARC conference where they talked about it a little bit, but the best thing is they modeled it. And I saw churches helping other churches. I saw churches going together to help church plants by giving and sowing into what they were doing. And it was extravagant giving. It was amazing. Dave Hess, one of our partners, sent me a 2-page paper about Jesus raising the standard from, legalistic tithing to being one of generosity in the New Testament. And then Steve Pilbrough had an experience a couple of weeks ago at a church service. Steve, just tell them what happened to you. It was during your baptism? Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. It was during a baptism service, and having recently joined the church, I was just sitting there watching this amazing thing. As about 10 people were baptized in the pool in the front of the church, and it was like God was talking to me and saying, "You're part of what's going on in the front of the church," which was quite a strange thought because I know nothing. I hadn't been involved with these people. I barely know the staff at ECC, so. Therefore, I began to think about it, and by my giving into the church, my tithe and my offering into the church, I realized that I was participating with the reward and the harvest that was being modeled before me. These people had got born again in the process of the last few months, and they wanted to be baptized, and so it was I knew the theory, but it was afresh to me in a new church with new people, that by me giving a bit of finance into the organization, I can participate in the reward that the organization receives.
That's very good. And of course, we talk about harvest a lot, and as a farmer, sowing and reaping is what we lived on. But that's really great that we can all be part of a harvest in a lot of different ways, but giving is one of them. Right. So has your view of giving, methods of giving, has that changed through the years? I know you've been a Christian a long time.
Yes. Over 40 years ago, I was born again from I was totally unchurched. And when I was born again, my parents especially and my siblings were shocked, because I went from a very stingy person and very dysfunctional to overnight, I was suddenly generous with the family, with everybody, and they knew something has happened to you.
Oh, that's great.
Because that doesn't happen naturally.
Yeah, no, and when it's noticeable, it's just wonderful.
That's right. And I had recently started working, and when I was taught about tithing, which our church was very strong on, I thought, well, the Bible says it, I must do it. And I went and paid my salaries. And I said, right, I want to get in with the program and become part of that. So right in the beginning, it was a very legalistic thing that God says it, so you do it, just like Paul talks about the law is a tutor for us. When I know he's talking about the Jews, and then Christ comes along, and then you come into your full inheritance. But it was like I had to go through you must do it because I say so, to moving to, I actually like the rewards, so I'm going to give for the rewards. And then I matured into, I want to be part of this whole thing that's going on. And then I found out that we have eternal rewards for what we sow on this earth, we can pay forward. And so it kind of matured to the point where generosity, it has become part of who I am. And just like God is a generous God. He is generous. He gave his son to die on the cross for us. He gave his very best. And so my nature as a Christian should be generous as well.
Yeah, that's good growth internally. Each of those steps are valid. And I think we all sort of start out very carefully, maybe cautiously doing the legalistic thing, because 10% seems huge.
Yes.
But to get to the point where we can give joyfully, generously, that shows maturity. It's great. So I know you're a finance man.
Yes.
He handles our finances for us, does a good job. Oftentimes, managing money is about saving money, protecting it, being really careful, and that's important. But what about the other side of it, of releasing and sowing in order to reap a harvest? That's the generosity side.
Right. It can seem counterintuitive for the way to increase, as the Bible says, is to give away. But my degree and my training was as an agricultural economist. So although I didn't go farming particularly, I knew about planting a seed in the ground, and that seed has to die. But when it dies, it shoots out new life, and that produces something a multiple number of times. I once took a cob of corn, as you would say. In Africa, we'd call it maize. I took a cob that came from one pip, and in fact, it would have had two cobs on the plant. And I pulled all the kernels off, and I counted them. And on one cob, there was 500 and something kernels.
Yeah.
Wow. And I thought, from one became 500. What a multiplication. And so I did have that as my background. And so I realized, just as Jesus was buried in the ground and one became billions of Christians today that are accepted into the kingdom, that is the same principle. So I have no problem with my own finances, that I must decrease, that I can increase on the other side. That my giving, I give away what I could use to eat or live or whatever, and I put it into an organization that I'm denied it, but I'm sowing it into another organization. And therefore, because that's my seed, I'm participating in the success of that organization. Yeah. And the important thing is where am I sowing? Where am I sowing? The farmer knows that you don't plant in stony ground.
Right.
You if you want the best crop, you plant into good soil. Oh. And that's what we need to be careful when we are sowing. Is this good soil?
Well, you're talking to a farmer here, so I understand this. And I remember years ago, I think it was Mark DuPont that just happened to mention to me in passing that he learned that if he wants to see a harvest personally, like in his area, you sow into your own field. And I realized I don't put my seed anywhere and everywhere. I put it where I want to see a harvest, which is my field. And now that I'm involved around the world, I love sowing into other places where I want to see harvest. So this is important. So we do that individually, but even churches and organizations can do that. I know you and I talked back in May about a situation in Europe where there's a group of churches that are HarvestNet partners in Ukraine. They're going through a war. The economy of Ukraine must have been devastated by the war. Some of them live in Warsaw, so they're planning a church there. And they collected throughout the year some giving to give to HarvestNet and gave it to us the week of the summit. I was shocked. I was my heart was warmed by it. But you remember that?
Absolutely. That's right. It was. It really struck me. I was very, very impressed that these not well-off people, I presume, they had taken a little bit every month out of the increase of their church for the greater good, and to sow it particularly into HarvestNet. And I was reminded with that actually in our partnership agreement that people sign up for HarvestNet. There's a little box that we tick there, and we might not pay much attention to it at the time, but it says, when you're able, will you agree to give 2 to 3% of your increase into HarvestNet for its greater work? And I was reminded of that. These people had taken that agreement very seriously and had put 2 or 3% aside, and it is quite a small number. You know, we mustn't take that out of the support for our local church. That is the first thing that we support. And obviously, we've taken care of our family, but it is a very important thing to be part and a partner of HarvestNet, to take a bit of finance and sow it into it. Then every single one of us then become part of what HarvestNet does around the world. There are people that are strengthened, and people are born again through the efforts of HarvestNet in, say, India. And I had the privilege of going there in January. It was an amazing trip. I've never been to India before, and the work that's being done there is quite phenomenal. By my little bit of giving, I can participate way over the seas in India. And the thing that amazes me is I really want to have an interview. When I go to heaven, I want to interview God. How do you keep track of all this? His accounting mind must be phenomenal, far better than QuickBooks or anything that man can invent, because he keeps track of every single seed that we sow. It is quite amazing. And so I really encourage all of our partners to participate, not by just attending meetings, not by going with us on trips only, but, and those are all good, but you can take a bit of finance and you can sow through. We've got such wonderful systems these days. You can use your credit card from the other side of the world. You can participate into HarvestNet using your credit card, and it is such a wonderful thing that we can live according to God's economy.
Yeah, what was amazing to me about the Ukrainians is that they could have easily justified spending all the offering money that they had on what they were doing, but they sowed into the nations, which of course is great values. So I know this might sound like this podcast is, we're going to receive an offering now. That's not true. But we all want to see a worldwide harvest, and there's ways you can sow into your own nation and continent or into the globe through HarvestNet. If you go to our website, there are ways that if you live in Europe and you want to sow into your own field and you give to Europe, your finances will be spent with HarvestNet's work in Europe, helping leaders and churches. Or if you live in Europe and want to sow into India or Africa, there's a place on there that you can designate your giving there. HarvestNet's only one of many organizations. I think the bottom line of our message for this podcast not just about giving to HarvestNet, but we want to move beyond the legalistic giving, what only is required, but we want to move into a mindset and a heart of generosity.
Yes.
And I know I tithe mechanically, but when I give to something even on top of that, because I want to, my heart is moved, I find more joy in that kind of generous giving. And I think that's probably closer to the New Testament heart of Jesus and giving than the mechanical, although nothing wrong with mechanically tithing. At any rate, in your church, in your life, in your nation, let's become generous people. Let's embrace a heart of generosity like Jesus in the New Testament espouses. And I hope you have a wonderful summer, relaxing time, a little bit slower. I know the month of August almost everywhere around the world, at least in the West anyway, the North is slower, and I hope you enjoy it with your family. And we'll look forward to seeing many of you. You're welcome to our summit in the fall. We have a global summit here in Pennsylvania. This year it is November 12 to 14. There are some details about it on the internet, but more will be coming. Madison, our event coordinator, just had a baby, so we congratulate her, but she'll be filling in the details for the summit very soon, and maybe we'll see you there. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us today. We are so thankful that you took the time to listen. If you enjoyed what you heard, please like and subscribe to our channel, and feel free to share this episode with your friends. To learn more or to give to HarvestNet, visit the link in our channel description. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at HarvestNet International.